it's recording. GoPro. This is our new GoPro.
Cheers
We'll
to
see
that.
how the GoPro works. I don't even know what setting it's on.
It'll be the GoPro or the hell no. One or the other. Or the don't go there.
But here we are, just leaving St. Helens on an adventure to go around Sauvie Island.
With the dogs tonight. We're getting them back into the groove for the season.
4 dogs. On this episode of Sail On, we take the dogs on a trip around Sauvie Island. Starting and ending at St. Helens, we spend the night at Coon Island and also make a short pit stop at Fred's Marina, near what the locals call Head of Channel. Getting around Sauvie Island requires traveling in 3 waterways: the Multnomah Channel on the west side of the island, the Willamette River on the south side of the island, and the Columbia River on the east side of the island. Starting off in the mid-afternoon, the winds were already up in typical fashion for the St. Helens area. Consistent summer wind patterns and the quick jump into the Columbia were the main reasons we chose to moor the boat in St. Helens this year. The north end of Sauvie Island is marked by the Warrior Rock Light. This lighthouse has a storied history back to 1889 and is Oregon's smallest lighthouse and one of only 2 lighthouses still operating in Oregon that are not on the Pacific Ocean. Most notable about the lighthouse is the old fog bell, which was cast in Philadelphia in 1855 and saw previous service at Cape Disappointment and at West Point in Seattle. The bell was damaged in 1969 and is now on display outside the county courthouse in St. Helens. Oh, there we go. Because it helps if I press the button.
Did you pull it, Karen?
Yeah. Making good speed with the wind, Buddy and Pete seem to be enjoying themselves checking out the sights on the shore. At the bottom of the Multnomah Channel are reminders of the industrial history of St. Helens, as well as the Cascades tissue plant that is still in operation. Buddy and Pete were definitely curious about the old chimney and loading dock.
Skipper. Hi, Skipper. Yes. The professor, i.e. the professor. Gilligan! Woo! Gilligan reporting for duty.
There are docks on each side of Coon Island, and we quickly decided that the docks on the east side of the island were in better condition and more sheltered for our overnight stay.
Jump, boy.
As usual, the dogs were happy to be going ashore. And, as usual, I was happy to check out a classic old boat tied up at the dock.
Tolly crafts. Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah. Which way? It's like a jungle.
I know. Not quite sure.
How about this way? Pete seems to think it's the right way to go.
We soon found ourselves walking through an overgrown grassy meadow in the center of the island.
Yeah.
Just like when you look on the tips.
It's a terrible place if you have allergies.
Do you have allergies?
No, it'd be a terrible place if you did. Well, here's a little campsite with a barbecue.
They're really not keeping it up though.
No, it doesn't look like anybody's been out here for.
It's pretty though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's the other dock.
The docks on the west side of the island were definitely needing some repair, with some sections missing their flotation.
Maybe they don't want you to walk outside of these. Oh yeah, because there's no flotation. Well, now what?
I'm hungry.
All right, well, let's head back then. Or a picnic shelter with a big fire pit.
I mean, that's pretty sheltered. You could easily. Wow. Pretty nice. Look at sailor graffiti. Off to sea. Kill your TV. Cool. They went to the ocean, whoever that was.
Walking back to the boat, I wondered about the sailors who left that graffiti and how far they had gone. And I could not help but to wonder about our future with sailing. Would we ever head out to sea? And if so, in what boat, when, and where? These thoughts stayed with me as the darkness came on. In the morning we rose and pushed off early because of the long distance we had to travel up the Multnomah Channel and then back down the east side of Sauvie Island. Because of the narrow width of the Multnomah Channel and the lack of wind, we basically motored all the way up to Fred's Marina. We motored through farmlands. We motored past rows of floating homes. And motored under the Sauvie Island power lines. And then motored past more floating homes. And motored past marinas. We motored past abandoned boats, decrepit marinas, and people out for a morning paddle. And then motored past more rows of floating homes. And even more floating homes. With the Sauvie Island Bridge in sight, we knew we were getting close to head of channel and about to pass our old moorage. This new Sauvie Island Bridge was opened in 2008 and will be 10 years old this June. How time flies.
It's pretty much, oh, there's a ski boat there.
Oh, yeah?
But other than that, they're pretty much using it for a construction area.
Yeah.
It was fun to have seen our old moorage, and fun to stop in at Fred's Marina once again for fuel and supplies.
Here we are at Fred's Marina. Made it. Pit stop for the pups. Nice little store, restroom facilities, and dog facilities.
We're trying to get subscribers, so
Subscribe here.
subscribe there.
Well, maybe that's not really our approach to get viewers, but it does sell. Head of Channel is where the Multnomah Channel meets the Willamette River. It's an area that is popular with fishermen and has a fair amount of commercial traffic. From Head of Channel, you can look upriver to the St. John's Bridge, inviting you into downtown Portland. Or you can look downriver to Mount St. Helens and the Columbia River. It must have been an amazing view from this location when the mountain erupted in 1980.
And here's the captain of our ship. However, you're wondering who's steering. That would be me. Hi, me.
Portland is known for bulk carriers, and this one looked to be loading some type of grain or wheat. Those dust clouds don't look gluten-free to me, so beware. Kelly Point Park is located where the Willamette meets the Columbia River. The Columbia Slough, popular with kayakers, empties into the Willamette here as well. Entering the Columbia, you get a view of Mount Hood upriver, and another future sailing trip to the infamous Columbia River Gorge beckons. The east side of Sauvie Island features many sandy beaches that are popular with Portlanders, including a nude beach. But with tacking into the building winds, we just couldn't seem to be on the right side of the river. Oh well.
There's the nude beach all the way over there. We would have been closer, but we had a problem leaving our channel.
As we made our way downriver, the wind just kept building, and we knew we were getting close to St. Helens once more.
It's really close.
The appearance of Warrior Rock Light and Sand Island marked the end of our circumnavigation of Sauvie Island. A little more motoring and a last few turns would put us back into our slip, and we didn't know it at the time, but this would end up being our last big journey on the Brass Ring. A few months after this trip, we ended up getting ourselves into a larger boat, and while we look forward to future adventures in the new boat, we will always be grateful and have longing memories of Brass Ring. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, sail on.